of G2, which was unexpected. So FaZe will be out for revenge here, but there is the series layout that we've got on our hands. And I've just, I've done my little research. I've looked at the statistics, and this looks like a pretty good series for FaZe. They haven't lost Oddball live fire so far this tournament. For G2, we have seen them lose it once. So I think if you're looking at it for game one, certainly FaZe have the lead going into this one.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight series, obviously. As we talked about, G2 has 3-0'd FaZe earlier in this tournament. Granted, it was pool play, and since then we've seen FaZe gain a lot of momentum. We saw them give Artic a great run for their money, but unfortunately they fell in that series. Now they find themselves here in the elimination bracket. It is win or go home here on Championship Sunday. Map 1 is Oddball on a live fire. Dan, I cannot wait to hop into this series.
Live fire Oddball, one of my favorites to watch because there's so many different ways you can play it. You can hold the ball back tower, you can take it towards garage. Sometimes you can even just hold it bottom middle if you're confident. And of course, the area over towards green, so you can play it, you can get it off the map. We're into this one now. Very excited for this revenge tour from FaZe.
A revenge tour indeed, as we just see Snip3down gets taken down by Straight and Sab on your screen, moving that ball over towards tower with the heat wave in his back pocket. This is a great place to get some time on the board. It gives you the opportunity to play that ball off the map if you're in danger and not risk giving a setup to the other team.
This is not good news for FaZe that already G2 have been able to get the ball to one of the more desirable locations, and Gilkey has the sniper rifle in hand. They just have to be careful of the camouflage, but looks like Gilkey will spot it out. So FaZe need to make this work. The push needs to come alongside the camo here.
Gilkey with the sniper and Mangler in his hands right now. He's going to be a very important player on the map, already doing a lot of damage. And look at that scoreboard. Good start for G2 here as they have the early lead, and once again moving that ball towards the tower to get that set up early.
It's been such an up and down tournament for G2 as well. They had the high highs of course, taking down FaZe, 3-0ing them, getting the reverse sweep onto Na'Vi into pool play, topping their pool, but then losing 3-0 to Ascend in the winners bracket, which is not something that anyone would have really expected outside of maybe some massive European fans. So they really are looking to try and make up for that here in the elimination bracket, try and do the same thing they did within pool play, but finally FaZe now able to get a few kills on the board and get some ball time.
Yeah, 3 members fall for G2 essentially at the same time, but we saw Gilkey there throwing the sniper and Mangler off the map, keeping that weapon out of the hands of someone like Snip3down, as we're on your screen right now. Bubu, dubu over here towards that B stronghold point, trying to head over towards Snip3down and provide some cover fire, knowing he's the only one over at this tower side with the ball, so he's in a bit of a predicament right now, Dan.
And the desk brought it up. Bubu dubu had a rough day yesterday, has had a rough weekend, a rough tournament. He was putting in those extra hours last night, still yet to find a kill in this round so far. I'm not going to highlight it too much because it's still the early stages, but he certainly is where I'm going to be looking at throughout this game, because he's going to be the difference maker for me. If he can step up, I think FaZe, they should be able to answer G2, but in the early stages, it seems to be very much blue heavy here.
On board with Straight right now, seeing if he can find that heat wave. Not on spawn just yet, so he's going to head out towards the dummies. Finds a camo player and goes down. Falcated does have that camouflage. He is one shot, but I believe he will be able to stay alive now, looking to help Bound and his teammates towards that tower side. Bubu in a great position to grab the ball and rotate.
Yeah, on the other side, I mean, Falcated has had some amazing plays throughout this tournament. A great triple kill, which was the difference maker in a series that we saw FaZe go down yesterday. And the moment he's just patrolling around bottom middle, trying to give his teammates the chance to get that ball away, but unfortunately for them, G2 very much hot on their heels with some grenades here.
Straight does find that heat wave now, trying to stay alive bottom middle, rotating towards the B stronghold point. Once again, spot Snip3down towards Nest. We'll call that out to his teammates as Gilkey goes down, and Straight just roaming bottom middle, going back and forth with the heat wave. A couple of his teammates do go down courtesy of Snip3down, but big kill right there for Straight, allowing the map to open up for his teammates.
You just get so much confidence when you've got the heat wave in hands. Falcated desperately trying to escape, but Sab is there. G2 very clearly communicating well, and now they've got sniper rifle and they've got heat wave. This will be a chance for them to really try and assert their dominance over FaZe, get that ball into a setup, and try and take this first round.
Nice shot there by Sab, connecting with a body shot over there on that player towards tower. Now rotating towards the garage, big door. This is a great area to snipe. You get some long angles to shoot at. You see Snip3down there in the nest, missing Bound barely towards that pillar. Nice grenade by Bound, making Sab one shot. He's going to clamber up on this ledge, trying to stay alive, but he will be rushed by Bound for the double kill, and sniper rifle in the hands of a very nasty player.
Yeah, that's 3 dead for G2. Maybe a slightly aggressive play from Sab with the sniper rifle, trying to hit that shot, the kind of wonder shot. If he had hit it, it could have been entirely different, and it really does show the margins in Halo Infinite. But instead, 3 of his teammates died because of that miss. He was just left vulnerable to the grenades over at the green side. But FaZe are putting the score on the board now. They were behind at first. G2, however, allowed FaZe to get too much time in this situation.
And Camouflage has been picked up by G2, but I believe Bound just took him down, and that was Sab on your screen. 81 to 56, 19 more seconds for FaZe, and they will advance with a 1-0 lead in the round here on Oddball, and that'll set up the series very well for them.
Well, one benefit of holding the ball over towards green, though, is at least G2 can play it if things get a little bit dicey. At the moment, all 4 players are up on both sides, but as I say, that straight hit gets eliminated. Bound is really starting to heat up once more.
Big double kill by Bound, finally going down, courtesy of Sab with the Mangler also in his hand, trying to find another. There goes down, bubu, dubu, Gilkey gets one as well, and finally G2 able to regain some momentum in this game as they are looking to tie things up, 82 to 74 and counting for G2.
You wouldn't believe that this was a 3-0 the last time these two competed because they're so evenly contested at the moment. Slays are somewhat similar. You've got 2 players who are struggling a little bit in terms of the slaying department, but every other player is really stepping up where they need to. Bound especially, 13 and 7 right now. That's why we're on board with him. Sniper rifle in hands, a lot of responsibility for this young man.
Neck and neck, back and forth for both of these teams. Gilkey with a big time play right there, taking down 2 members of FaZe, but Falcated there to weather the storm. Will pick up the sniper rifle and the ball. This man does it all.
Those are the kind of moments as well that can make or break a series. Gilkey surviving, getting that grenade down as Falcated now with FaZe. They're only 8 seconds away from closing this one out, but G2 getting close, trying to stop it.
Big kill right there. It was straight sick it was, I believe. Yes, it could have been very dangerous right there as FaZe is nearing a victory. Only 7 seconds to go for FaZe. 20 seconds left for G2. Straight sick does have a sniper rifle, and this man can hit some shots. But he does go down, and now Camo in the hands of Falcated.
Camo will allow them to at least break this setup, get towards that ball, but they don't have long to work with here. You've got to make a push relatively quickly, but you've also got to look at the clock and say, okay, we've got at least 18 seconds if they pick up the ball. The good thing for FaZe, the ball's not currently being held by G2 right now. We're having a complete slay-off.
This is scary for G2 as 3 members go down. Nice snipe by Falcated, continuing his impressive play this weekend. And there you have it. The first round will go to FaZe, and they are completely unfazed right now. Cool, calm, and collected. They expect to win that game.
A slow start for FaZe, but when Bound started to heat up, he started to get some slays under his belt. I think the rest of the team just formed around him, and they really gained confidence against the G2 side, who just seemed to let that one slip through their fingers a little bit. It was certainly within their grasp, and they'll know that, but that's why we're playing rounds of Oddball now, because you do have the opportunity to restart. You don't have to break a setup after a round is won. It's right back to the beginning. It's right back to starting from once over.
And 3 members did fall there for FaZe. But it looks like we are looking to continue this series. FaZe, though, with an impressive round 1 win in that Oddball. Much better start than they had last time around, going up against G2, getting 3-0'd like we talked about.
Yeah, a great start from FaZe. I think if FaZe had lost that initial round, then maybe the heads would have started to drop, especially when you look at kind of bubu dubu and the performance he had over the weekend. He needs a pick-me-up. I think if you allow yourself to get into that point where the seed is planted in your head of maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm the reason I'm letting my team down, we can still continue to watch. It was the observer that wasn't in the game anymore, so we can just have a little sneak preview. This feels like lands of old days, just watching over people's shoulders, Goofy.
Looking at the scoreboard there, if I'm reading correctly, FaZe does have about a 40-point lead in the second round. Excuse me, I think that's G2 that does have a lead right now, so they are starting off this round much better than the previous. With your screen right now, Bound looking to soar out towards this open camo area. Been a bit of a trouble right here, and he does go down. Gilkey gets a double kill. Sab with the heat wave, so 3 members fall for FaZe.
Yeah, and FaZe just need to make sure they don't allow G2 to get rolling here, because otherwise things are going to start to get a little bit scary. When G2 start to pop off, when they start to get loud and the confidence is just flowing through them, then they're at their very best. Then they'll be terrifying anyone in this tournament.
47-8. FaZe is starting to put some points on the board, and like we saw last game, Dan, even though G2 came out strong in the early stages of that round, FaZe was able to kind of rebuttal a little bit and then close strong. So there's still a lot left to be played in this Oddball live fire game, as that lead is dwindling down slowly and surely for FaZe trying to bring it back.
I think what impressed me with FaZe in the previous was they weren't deterred by the fact that G2 got those early points on the board, that they were able to set up a tower. Because sometimes when a tower setup is actually found here on live fire, you can get a little bit antsy. You can maybe just send individuals across the map to try and rush and try and get those kills, desperately try and make that ball be played. But FaZe, they stopped, they were patient, they waited for at least 3 of them to push, and they were very successful in breaking those setups.
I believe we got bubu dubu on your screen, throwing down that drop wall right there for some cover as his team is moving the ball towards the tower, trying to get a solid setup here, put a big chunk of points on the board. And there's that Camel player, he does go down. Gilkey gets a kill as well, and there goes down bubu dubu. Double kill for Gilkey, trying to will his team to a round win and push it to a 3rd one and start off the series strong.
Well, when you look at a player like Gilkey and what he's been able to achieve, not just in Halo Infinite so far, but also his Halo history. I mean, a player that you would love to have on your team. He does a little bit of everything. I say that every team needs that. Someone who's going to put their body on the line, prepared to do the objective, but also, when they have the right weapons in their hands, can be the best slayers in the team as well. But this one is pretty close. At the moment, it does look like G2 are starting to really get closer towards those 100 points. I know it's a little bit more difficult to tell with the color changes, but we'll keep you on board as much as possible. It's just G2 ticking over to 75 at this point.
Great plays all around by G2 right now, allowing themselves to get a comfortable lead in this round. Now they do start to fall and play that ball, so a great opportunity here for FaZe to rebound a little bit and get a setup of their own.
Setups are difficult as well, especially when you're off spawn and you're kind of finding yourselves either on your own or just as a 2. Do you push round towards the open area? Do you maybe go down through bottom middle? There's got to be a lot of communication between the team. Otherwise, you can leave yourself so vulnerable to grenades.
Falcated falls there, Sab with the melee. And looking at that scoreboard, G2 so close. This is going to be a big round win for them. They want to set the precedent early that 3-0 was by no means a fluke in pool play, and they are obviously one of the top teams. But keep in mind, this is the elimination bracket, so a loss in the series here means you are packed and going home. This is such a big series for both of these rosters who has championship aspirations.
Remember, this is still map 1, phase 1, round 1 here in Oddball, but it looks like G2 are closing in on potentially tying this one up if they can get a little bit more ball time on board. But FaZe are not making it easy for them whatsoever. Every single time G2 think they're going to get some time, members of FaZe just flood through to take them off the map. But G2 just managed to get hold of the ball once more, and maybe this is going to be a little bit too far for FaZe to get back into.
Yeah, at this moment, time isn't necessarily the issue. The game time, I should say. It's the score itself, as G2 are just inching towards that 100-point mark. They're so close, but FaZe currently does have the ball in their hands. They have a bit of a setup, and Mangler as well, bottom middle, trying to rush that ball player and get it out of his hands.
At least, like, usually when I'm watching a game like this over the shoulder, I'm usually quite short, so I'm behind loads of people in the open bracket. At least I've got bird's eye view. This is perfect. But with the ball being played, it looks like maybe actually no FaZe are able to grab that one. So FaZe are slowly crawling their way back into this. G2, though, so close to getting that 100, and that's the scary thing. I think when you're that close to winning a round, sometimes you get a little bit desperate. Yeah. You start to push unnecessarily. They just need to stay focused, stay calm, don't allow FaZe to get back into things.
Yeah, G2 just needs to get they need to focus on getting a couple kills, Dan. Yep. That's what G2 needs to do, is just get a kill, get 2 kills, and allow yourself to open up the map and get that ball comfortably. There's going to be no point in just mindlessly rushing for the ball. You're just going to give FaZe an opportunity to come back into this game, as that camo does get grabbed. Gilkey gets a kill. Gilkey gets a double. Straightsix gets one as well, so 3 members fall for FaZe. This could be an opportunity for G2 to close out this round.
Just need to pick up that ball, get those 4 more seconds. It looks like they will do so. The round gets closed out, and we're tied up 1-1. G2 coming back into things, and FaZe, they're going to be wondering, maybe G2 aren't going to be as much of a pushover as we thought they would be initially in that opening round. But I was really impressed with how G2 had what they had to offer in that particular one.
Yeah, G2, that was a big round win for them, and we're hopping over really quick to this Space Station versus Team War matchup. Space Station, I want to talk about them really quick, Dan. They had a bit of a slow start to this tournament. They find themselves in the elimination bracket right now. How do you feel about this Space Station Station roster so far in this tournament? Do you think they have what it takes to go the distance?
I think that Space Station certainly have impressed me at times, but also other times I've been a little bit concerned with them. And if they don't win against Team War, then that would be, in my opinion, willing of maybe a team change, or even just considering a little bit more practice. I know that Tusk came into it a little bit late because of the formal situation, so there's always going to be that extra excuse. But Team War, even though they've had an amazing run through the open bracket, right? When you look at some of the players that have been able to get here, Septify, of course, we all know him. We've all seen him at various Halo tournaments. When you look at the Space Station roster, they should be winning games like this.
Definitely. Being one of the partner teams, Space Station making a name for themselves in Halo Infinite. And yeah, like you mentioned, Team War does have some Halo players on the other side, some veterans perhaps, just Zero, Super CC, Envor, and Septify. They've been around the block. They're actually a collection of 4 very individually skilled players that can do it all, right? So War definitely has earned their spot in this matchup right now, and they're going to be a tough opponent for the Space Station team, who currently does have the lead in round 1 of this live fire oddball.
And I think these are the perfect tournaments to experiment with, 4 players who are just very individually talented, because we're not going to see as much practice teams because there's only been a certain amount of period of time in the game's life cycle. So for Team War, they've battled through that open bracket. They beat Chiefs in their first elimination bracket round, and then they actually took down Status Quo prior to this. So they're in top 12 at the moment. This one, of course, is for top 8. And what an achievement that would be, not only to take down Space Station here, but also to move themselves into that top 8 position.
On board with Super CC, under a lot of pressure, and Ace Elam takes him down. Sniper rifle in his hands as well. Nice couple kills for Ace. Running around towards his bottom area, heading towards dummies. Runs into Jazero and wisely backing up, but Jazero says, no way. You go down with that sniper.
So who I've been really impressed with this tournament is Tylenol. I think he's a player, again, I speak about those who will put their bodies on the line, but his slaying ability has been fantastic, but he's also prepared to get that ball. You can see in this game, 44 points already on his side, but knowing when to drop it, when to slay, when to join the rest of the team, picks up the double and will help assist for the third as that power-up's coming up.
Deciding it does pick up the oddball, 70-39. Only 30 seconds left to go for Space Station and everyone on this team to advance in this round, and they're looking to make a run. You saw Ace on his Twitter last night talking about he's going to reset today and have a big day, and that's what I'm looking for. Ace specifically to step up for this team. He is the veteran, the global champ. He needs to step up and lead the troops to a long elimination bracket run.
And sometimes that can add extra pressure to you. When you do build a squad of kind of young talent and you're the older, more experienced player, even though you're looking towards them to have a good tournament and not choke on lad, it's also up to you to show them how to do it, to perform well, to show why you have all that experience, why you've been able to achieve so much throughout your Halo career. So that adds extra pressure onto your shoulders, but certainly Ace in this game performing very successfully. 12 kills and 5 deaths at the moment. Picked up a little bit of ball time as well. 87 on the score for Space Station, so they're not far away from taking this first round.
Heat wave in hand for Ace, trying to spot this player who took down his teammate Tusk. Nice easy kill there for Ace. A Super CC gets one on the board. So one member for each team going down, and that heat wave is still causing all kinds of problems for Team War. Ace is making them pay and rushing this garage.
Heat wave in hand for Ace. And the ball's going to be there as well. I mean, Ace has the round in his hands right now. A couple of kills here or there would make it very difficult for Team War.
5 seconds left to go for Space Station to win this round. Tusk on the edge in case anything happens to play, but nothing will go wrong for them as they win first round in this oddball live fire pretty comfortably, with Ace leading the charge.
Yeah, I think Space Station need to be winning comfortably as well. If they allow Team War to think they've got what it takes to beat them, then that's when the belief starts to kick in, right? That's when actually you get a little bit more adrenaline about you. We've all been there as the underdogs. When you're playing, you've played through open bracket, you've got this far, now you're going up against a team as big as Space Station. If you start to win a few individual fights, if you start to take a round or two here or there, suddenly that round becomes a map, and that map can very quickly turn into a series if Space Station start to worry.
Tylenol takes down Septify, picks up the ball, runs into Jazero bottom middle, who will get the better of that engagement. Super CC gets one as well, so a couple members for each team going down. This has been a pretty even start to the round. That overshield is on spawn right now, Dan, and Ace will fall before activating it. Envor does pick up the OV. Let's see if he decides to click it in. And yes, he does.
Just about. Tusk unfortunately whiffing that first shot. Otherwise, that could have been huge for Space Station to stop this overshield being in play. But just look at the nade placement we're seeing from Space Station at the moment. Recognizing they have to back off ever so slightly with the overshield approaching them. Throw a few nades just to deplete it ever so slightly. And they are trying to survive, trying to at least make it so that overshield is gone by the time they re-engage.
Oddball in the hands of Envor. This back tower setup, once again, we've been seeing that a lot this tournament as compared to holding it in the garage. Couple members fall, though, for Team War, so puts Envor in a compromised position, allows him to play the ball, and 3 members fall for War. And we're on board with Talonol and that sniper.
Even though he's got a sniper, he still says, well, so well, let's get the ball into a position where we can actually make it work. You just got to be careful, though. He's in a very difficult situation where he knows he has to play that ball, but also doesn't want to give away this sniper rifle. He needs to get into a position now where he can at least do something with it. You don't want to allow the sniper rifle to be in your back pocket for too long when it can make such a huge difference, but a big double there.
Double kill for Talonol, still has the sniper rifle. I know he puts that weapon to use, but Septify takes him down. Tusk goes down as well. A good couple kills for Team War, trying to string them together and get some kills, but Ace once again there to shut it down. The overshield is on spawn as well. Let's see if Ace can grab this, putting out some shots on Envor, who will be rushing him to zeros there as well, causing all kinds of problems, and Ace gets taken down with the overshield still on spawn.
Team War have really stepped it up in this round. They're actually, in the slaying department, matching Space Station, if not outdoing Space Station at this point. And as I said, that will give them the belief that, you know, they're not second best to this squad, that they can take them down in maps and even potentially a series. But Tusk will look to try and shut this down with a couple of interesting weapons in hand. Does have the Needler, but the Needler does do damage if you use it correctly.
The Needler, one of the few times we've seen it used on this main stage. Tusk putting in the work right there. Talonol, multiple members of War falling, allowing Tusk to just roam around here bottom middle with his teammate Talonol, who gets that ball back towards tower. Tusk gonna use all kinds of movement to get top middle as he repulses into a safer position.
Yeah, just to make sure he's not too vulnerable for grenades. He also knew that the sniper rifle was coming up, trying to put it to work. But every single time the sniper has been popping, Space Station have been there. They've been waiting. They know that they can actually do some damage with it, but a great push from Team War to ensure that that sniper rifle doesn't get out of hand or into the right hand, should I say.
Here we go, we got Envor with the sniper rifle. Let's see what he can do with it. Misses one shot on Ace, and Ace is gonna continue to put pressure on Envor, and he chooses to back down and gets taken down. So a couple members falling for War. Every time it seems that they get some sort of advantage in the game. They get a sniper rifle, they get a mangler. They're always there. Space Station is always there to shut it down.
2 minutes 38 left on the clock, so still plenty of time. But for Space Station, they don't really know where to take this ball. Ace wanted to get it towards tower, but Skeptify was there, waiting, lurking in the depths of bottom middle. And it's really important you have those players who are prepared to kind of take those risks, push those angles, to stop a ball from transitioning from point A to point B. Because if that ball had got to tower intercepted, then that could have been very, very detrimental to Team War.
38-41, essentially all tied up at this point in this game. Talonol doesn't have too much going on around him right now at this point in the map. He's gonna rotate the ball over towards the overshield and just kind of play that middle ground right now as he senses there's some danger coming out from that B stronghold point. And you see bottom middle, Septify taking a lot of damage, but he does get the better of that fight, taking down Talonol. Big kill there for Septify with Tusk right there to clean him up with the overshield.
Yeah, Tusk getting the overshield was massive there for Space Station because it allowed them to get the confidence, but actually a lot of grenades being piled in towards bottom middle by Team War allows them to stop any valuable time being given over towards the Space Station roster. It's a very close game. Space Station were behind quite considerably, but now have made a lead of just 8 points. 1 minute 48 on the clock. This one could come down to time, so that's where you've got to start to consider. If you have a significant lead, you will start to just play around that ball rather than holding onto it and stopping the clock.
Only 1 minute and 37 seconds on that time right now, 49-44. This has been a back and forth round, Dan, as we saw Space Station comfortably win that first round, but War is here to let you know that they can compete with the best of them, as Super CC does have the oddball in the back of this tower and looks like he's going to be able to grab a good chunk of time here. Yeah,
one setup is all it's really going to take for either of these teams, but Super CC in a little bit of trouble, but it doesn't matter too much because he's going to be able to deal with that all by himself, and that individual fight is going going to do wonders for the rest of the Team War squad. And by holding the ball here, it at least means that Team War can play it when they get into a vulnerable position. They do so. And with 1 minute 20 now, Team War have a decision to make. Do we just watch this ball bottom middle, get some nades in, keep Space Station away from it?
Tylenol, Super CC getting a trade there. Deciding on your screen now, taking some shots from Garage, forces him to drop bottom middle now, heading towards his Oddball. Might as well pick it up while you're down there, right? Rotating the ball once again towards the tower. If you're watching this series, it gives you some notes to take on how to rotate the ball, how to make sure you're getting that scrappy ball time, because when you're playing at the highest level, it can be very tough to hold a setup for longer than 10, 20 seconds.
You've really got to have the awareness of knowing how and when to grab that ball. But Overshield in the hands of Space Station, Sniper Rifle also there for them. So they are in a position to not only take the lead here, but potentially win the game from this setup if they play it correctly. 2 members of Team War were down, but off the spawn have at least been able to respond with a kill of their own onto Space Station. But you've really got to push quickly here if you're Team War. It has to be now one last final push, but it's probably just going to be a play.
A strong setup there for Space Station, allowed them to get a comfortable lead by 20 points, deciding taking some shots. Envoy gets a kill as well, so 2 members drop for Space Station. Let's see if War can get a setup, get this ball time. Super CC has to drop down to help his teammate right there. Skeptify is trying to jump around with that Mangler staying alive, and both of them able to successfully get out of there with their life.
Yeah, they've done really well to escape with the ball there. I thought that Space Station might have had a little bit more presence, a few more grenades to throw, but this is the scary situation. If you allow Team War to escape with this ball and get into a position where they can hold it and set up, they probably win this round with time starting to dwindle away. But for Super CC, it was such a big play to just hold off on this ball because he's got that heat wave available and for his use.
Oh! 3 members go down for Team War, and Tylenol does have the Oddball in his hands. 10 seconds left to go for Space Station to win this game 1.
96. I think this one is going to take over unless there's some miraculous holy grenades. Not going to happen. So Space Station will take the lead against Team War. There was a couple of dicey moments. Team War definitely showed that they can actually match Space Station when it comes to individual skill. But as expected, when it comes to objective work, Space Station was just that little bit better.
Yeah, and now we will be moving back to our original series. That is FaZe versus G2. FaZe currently has a 1-0 lead in that oddball win. And now we're going to be looking at Streets Slayer.
Ooh, Street Slayer is going to be an interesting one. We've not seen FaZe lose that so far this tournament. On the other side, G2 have lost it already once. So again, when I was looking at the series layout, I did say, you know, I think this might be teetering towards the side of a FaZe favorable series. Certainly the opening 2 for sure. But Slayer Streets, a difficult one to play if you get behind, if you allow the other team to get that Bulldog, because they really can do some damage.
Yeah, not just the Bulldog, Dan. You have the Rockets as well. You have that Stalker Rifle. Takes a lot of skill to land shots, and of course, the utilities around the map. I want to see G2 come out strong, make this a series. Game 2, a lot of people call it the swing game, Dan, and this is going to need to be a swing game for G2.
Yeah, G2 do not want to go 2-0 down here, but at the same time, they did reverse sweep already once this tournament, so at least they know they have the capabilities to do so, but they don't even need to think about that just yet. For now, get back into this series. Show what you can do when it comes to a Slayer game type, because it's all about that raw skill, that individual talent, hitting your shots, winning your fights. Let's get into it.
Starting things off with bubu dubu. We talked about him a lot before the series. He was staying up late last night after everyone went home, was staying, practicing, sharpening his skills for today. It's Championship Sunday. Get hyped up in the crowd. We got FaZe taking on G2. Bubu dubu runs into Gilkin. Good shots out of bubu. That's what I want to see.
We need to see some Bubu take my dubu in the Twitch chat, I think, because that is going to be the one way maybe to give him that energy. Bubu dubu was one of my favorite players to watch throughout Halo 5's era, but doesn't seem to have found that spark just yet in Halo Infinite. But we know it is there. We know what it's capable of, as this game is already slowed down Goofy because of these rockets. Straight Sick has been able to pick them up, and neither team wants to move at the moment. No one is going to take that risk, but someone's going to move eventually.
Falcated right there. We're in observer mode, so we can see all 4 players of FaZe. As you see, Falcated's in that cafe, Snip3down's in that driveway, providing his line of sight, and Straightsick has the rocket. Will not be able to pick up the kill on Falcated somehow, some way, getting away, but Bound does go down the other side. Falcated will be one shot as well. It's a good start for G2.
Clutch adds that to Rockets that maybe should have got a kill, but did not, as Straight6 still has one left in the chamber. So can wait, can assess the situation. FaZe still reluctant to push out into a vulnerable position, knowing full well that Straight6 could be wait. And look how FaZe are spreading out. No two players are stood within the same proximity because they know full well it would be an easy double.
Straight6 taking some shots from Snip3down, still controlling this tires area of the map. Shoots another rocket.
It's a whiff.
2 rockets, 0 kills so far for Straight6, and you really want to see a player with rockets get at least 1 kill, preferably both with those rockets. And bubu does have that soccer rifle. Gilkey putting down some shots on him, forcing him to back up towards these B stairs, and it's going to allow that stalker to rotate.
Whilst it was disappointing Straight6 didn't get the rocket kills, we have to commend FaZe for the way they played it, the way they avoided him and stayed at a distance to make it difficult for him to even find anything. In the end, he kind of didn't have the trigger discipline to hold off and wait. He thought he'd be able to get some damage off of the wall. But in the end, it didn't work out, as it's now 5-5. This is one of the slowest Street Slayer games I've seen since Halo 5 started, since Halo Infinite started, excuse me. And now we've got to see someone just maybe try and utilize these rockets. It's gonna be Bound. Maybe he can have more success than Straight6 did.
Rockets in the hand of Bound, takes down Sab with no problem, rushing towards this back base right now. Straight6 gets one on Falcated. Gilkey takes down Bound. So good couple swing kills there for G2. And Gilkey with some great shots right there. We'll get some help. But big plays out of the Gilk dud.
Gilk's playing very well already in this tournament and in this series. Impressed me even in the 2 rounds we did witness a little bit earlier. Bubu Dubu now doing his job to get a little bit of damage onto that final remaining player. But if you are G2, I don't know if you're happy with the pace of this game. I think that you don't want to allow FaZe to have too much structure. I feel like FaZe are a team who do like to set up, do like to play a game in a more traditional sense, whereas G2 like to kind of rush around, use their individual talent, get those slays on board, and really try and overwhelm their opponents.
Straight6 taking some heavy fire from that Bulldog. Snip3down always there to control the power weapon. You know he has Snipe in his name, but any sort of power weapon, he will be having a big smile on his face because you know he can do some heavy damage. Now locating bottom middle, Snip3down trying to position himself in somewhere to get those rockets that will be spawning in about 20 seconds. Bound does have the soccer rifle. Gilkey in front of him takes him down. Good shot there with that soccer rifle, and then switching over to the BR for the kill.
I love that all teams are prioritizing this stalker rifle as well. When I first saw it on the map, I questioned it. I was like, you know, is anyone actually going to pick it up? Is it usable? But then once you get it in your hands and you start to hit the shots, this thing shreds. And if you've got someone who likes to anchor, who can actually be accurate, who can hit the perfect, it becomes a terrifying weapon in the right hands.
It reminds me of that light rifle in Halo 5, Dan. It just that 3-shot kill, and you can, you know, use it close range, swap to your secondary, whether it be a BR sidekick and clean up the kill. We saw Bound there putting it to use. Bubu Dubu gets taken down by Sab, even though that Stalker will be down. Sab choosing to stick with the Bulldog and BR combo.
Yeah, the Bulldog is going to just do so much damage. Has seen one player, and unfortunately for Snip3down, he got spotted out and will fall to the ground. And now with a 6-kill lead, G2 suddenly will be like, okay, well, actually, if FaZe do want to slow this game down, now we finally have a commanding lead here. We can really afford to just wait for them to come to us. And when they do arrive, we're going to have lots of goodies. We've got the Bulldog in the back pocket. We can whip that one out and be, you know, a real nuisance to this FaZe roster.
Great map positioning right now for G2, holding that high side, forcing the members of FaZe to come to them, and they have the lead. Reversal medal on your screen. 2 members fall for FaZe, and the lead keeps on extending. Make that 3 members as 24 to 15, 9-kill lead for the boys on G2.
FaZe just have to be careful. 2 players individually pushing out on their own up separate streets there, and that played into the hands of G2 Esports. They will mop up those kills all day. We need to see FaZe push as a unit. This is what it's difficult to push up this ramp, but if you do it together alongside grenades, you can make it work. They've got 2 kills. Now is FaZe's chance to try and take some map control here.
Bubu Dubu against Straight6. We'll get the trade there. Hopping on board with Sab, heading towards the red room. Bulldog still in his hand. Sab currently 7 kills and only 2 deaths. He is playing his life so well all game long. Sab now just rotating and controlling the entire middle part of the map with those rockets spawning very soon.
Yeah, these rockets can be pretty big for FaZe's chances of getting back into things. Snip3down trying to do his best to get FaZe on board, but now this gap is starting to increase ever more so, and it's still Sab with the Bulldog being a thorn in the side of FaZe here.
rocket launcher has spawned, and Straight able to get those and run away. Artic cleans up that kill on Snip3down. Sab takes down bubu, dubu, and a 13-kill lead. This one is being blown open by G2. Straight now rockets and Stalker, everything going in the favor of G2 this game too.
Not the most successful rockets from Straight last time, but making them count on this occasion, and 2 big kills here can really help G2 get closer to that 50 mark, keep this lead to a point where FaZe are unable to get back into things. Because if this gap gets closed to about 5 or 6 kills, I think FaZe will feel like they're in this one. However, if it stays at around 10, then G2 can just afford to wait, push, trade, and if they trade 1-for-1 every single time, they're going to win this game.
Artic and that planner gets taken down by bubu, dubu. Gilkey falls right into the trap as well, but it managed to get a kill right there before falling, so not terrible for G2 right there. You got to be careful to not allow the momentum to swing too much. They're so close to closing this game out as Bound just shooting some shots just to see if he can get some information here. And he's just patrolling this arcade, finds this player, that's Gilkey in the tires. He goes down, but every time Gilkey able to get some sort of trade, and once again, Bound trading with Sab.
Trades are good. 11-kill advantage now for G2. They're going to be feeling pretty confident about this one. Just can't afford to get complacent. Need to make sure that they set up for the next set of rockets, because FaZe are probably going to try and slow it down a little bit, try and prioritize those, because they could be their ticket back into the game. The Bulldog also another way of being able to get a decent amount of kills to push you into a closer scoreline here.
Falcated, dropping down bottom B stairs. Switching over to Bound now with that good pinch opportunity for FaZe. Look at this cheeky jump attempt. Called it an attempt because he did miss the jump, and now because of that, he pays dearly as Sab takes him down with the melee. Falcated able to provide cover fire for bubu, dubu, who gets a double kill. Now Straight on your screen, bubu, dubu with a triple. Good plays out of bubu.
It's what you need to see. Someone stepping up, someone trying to get those multi-kills so you actually have a chance to just stop this deficit from being too much out of reach. Rockets are up 44-36, 8 kills in it at the moment. If Rockets go in the hands of FaZe, maybe there's a chance, because they forced a few players back into station here. Bound has found those rockets as well. This one's not over just yet, but G2, if they can stop the rockets, which they will, they go into the hands of Gilkey, and I'm sorry, FaZe fans, I think this one's starting to trickle out of control.
G2 making a statement here in game number 2, 48-36. Gilkey has the freedom to roam around the map a little bit as you see him pushing towards that bottom part of the map, and actually ends up paying for it. So you just want to be careful. Make sure you close out the game strong here. Don't give FaZe any signs of life going into game number 3 as Straight on your screen. Got a little risky there, but Bound does take him down.
48-40. It's not done just yet. Still a small job to do here for G2 Esports, but we've seen comebacks like this before. FaZe slowing it down, G2 recognizing they can't just aimlessly push into everything here. They probably just need to bound together as a 4 and get a push on the go, and maybe this will be it right here.
49-41, one more kill to go, and we will be all tied up in this series. Bubu Dubu in front of Artic takes some heavy fire. Able to stay alive, and a couple members fall for G2, so hold your horses. Only 4-kill deficit now as FaZe clutching up and stringing together some kills.
This is where panic starts to set in for G2. They know that they have just been desperately trying to chase kills, and they'll be thinking, oh god, we can't let this one slip. For FaZe, they start to believe you've got to be really careful if you're G2 here. You cannot afford to allow FaZe to pick you off one by one. You've got to push as a team.
Oh, Gilkey in a very compromised position. I believe he's going to go down, but before he does, he takes down Sab. Excuse me, Sab takes down Bound, and there you have it. Game number 2 will be going in the favor of G2, and we're all tied up, Dan.
That was a little bit worrying for a second, though. I think the hearts would have been beating a little bit faster for the G2 roster. They knew that FaZe were starting to be in the ascendancy. They were starting to come back into things. But it just takes the IGL to just calm everyone down and say, look, lads, we're 5 kills up still at this point. We can afford for all 4 of us to die, and we would still have the lead. Objective efficiency has been better today. We've already seen them play Strongholds Recharge a couple of times this tournament. They've won it once, they've lost it once. In that loss, they did lack that kind of ability to prioritize Strongholds at certain times. However, in the game they won, there was just a lot better rotations from the Slays were there. The game almost played for themselves. So I really want to see them get on top of the Slays first and then prioritize the Strongholds when they can.
Hopping on board with Straight, heading bottom middle, running into a couple grenades, not able to pick up that camouflage boop. Bound actually opts to leave the camo first, get that kill, and now he will comfortably be able to pick up that power-up. Let's see if he activates it. I'd imagine he goes for that Mangler.
Camo could be big here for Bound. Just needs to help his team. The trade is okay, and actually it's good that the trade actually happened because he didn't have to fire his weapon, doesn't have to give away his position. Although now capturing C technically will give away his position, but certainly prioritizing Strongholds is what I was talking about. Getting those points on the board, get that scrappy time where it's available to you.
Sab, a lot of shots going down on him. Bottom elevator, but Bound wisely choosing to just leave him alone and rotate towards B. He knows that G2's in a position to capture A, so why not rotate, get B, and 2 Strongholds still in favor of FaZe, but that camo pretty much goes unused as Sab takes down Bound. Gilkey on your screen with the shock rifle. Nice body shot there on bubu dubu, and they will be able to convert B back into their favor, so good answer right there from G2 after FaZe had everything working in their favor, picked up camo. G2 able to turn things around.
Just to update everyone on some games that are happening elsewhere in elimination bracket. Sentinel's currently 2-1 up over Ascend, and Quadrant versus Na'Vi is 1-1. So some really exciting matches happening across the board here in the elimination bracket. Similarly here, FaZe versus G2, 1-1 at the moment. Early points have gone towards G2. Slay's still a struggle for bubu dubu. I hate to point it out, but the entire weekend he has been, you know, 0 kills for the first like 2 minutes in several different games.
No, there's no question about it. Bubu Dubu is going to need to turn things around, and he's going to need to do it quick as their backs are against the wall. This series against a really powerful opponent in G2. 3 members do fall, though, for G2. Sab left all alone in A, backing up into a corner. Not many options for him. He's about to run into a multiple FaZe players. That sword goes down. So good job there by Bubu Dubu and FaZe, and that's what I want to see. That triple clap about to be in full effect for FaZe. The C does convert, though, for G2.
That's better from bubu as well. Just as I question it, he gets 3 kills online, and now that will allow him to just relax a little bit. It's always difficult as a player when you are still on that goose, but now bubu doesn't have to even think about it. Bound once more, being a nuisance, but the grenade is fantastic from the death.
Big play right there by Artic. We haven't talked about him enough. I think he is a young, up-and-coming player. Only 20 years old. Artic has a long journey ahead of him in his Halo career. Just getting started and already on one of the top teams here in the HCS. Gilkey looking to lead the troops in this game 3 as his team currently down in this game 51-50. Things are so close right now this series in this game. Both teams have so much to play for. Triple cap for a moment right here for G2.
Love what I've just seen from G2, spreading themselves out, pushing both B and A, and really making FaZe question themselves and question what they want to hold. Instead, FaZe actually retreated from A, went towards C, but were punished for it because G2 were in a position to stop that one, and we're seeing a significant amount of time build up here with this current trip cap. FaZe need to stop the bleeding soon.
Yeah, this is very scary for FaZe, as the only stronghold they're able to cap right now is that B battery stronghold, and you're going to be so open to taking damage as you see Falcated somehow, some way able to capture B and stay alive.
At least they've got B. That's always going to be your priority. It happens in various Stronghold games as well. B is usually the most difficult point to take, and it is definitely the same here on Recharge. So the fact they've got it, now they can choose to push between A or C. They do try and prioritize A, but it looks like G2 have got an answer over at A, so they're going to have to try C. And look how quick G2 are to react. As soon as C is even being remotely contested, straight to B. Make sure they keep those points on board.
The rotations are on point so far for G2, getting a great lead to start things off in Game 3. Camo in the hands of Snip3down, though he is taking down some shields, but able to activate that camouflage. He's going to need to make a play and turn the tides here in this game as G2 is running away.
G2 haven't lost this game type so far in this tournament, and you can see why. Their ability to really pressure the opposition and keep moving through to every stronghold is amazing. I want to see, what the communication is like on G2 as they have quite a significant lead. Let's go to an Astra and listen in.
We can push out C. Look out. I got me, dude. He got me sniped down top red. He's going in B. Yeah, we're gonna see. Hold it. He's out too. No, we're good. Get kills. You're gonna go. I'm down. They're already gonna get A. They lied. Let them get kills. Have control. I can try in a second. Have control. Flick red sword. Get him melee. Nice. Sword is down there. I'm trying to go. We're good, we're good.
I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try.
He has sword. Oh,
I hear that. A pit.
Top red by himself. Watch out from Snip. We're good, we're good.
I'm gonna try and hit out red, guys.
It's winning, bottom control. So bottom control pushing. I got a good spawn. Where we at?
One shot on sword spawn.
Turbine, two of them.
Push these guys.
Watch out, Turbine.
Do one shot to hit me. He's gonna push me. I can't see him. I cannot see him.
It ain't live if we can. We need to live, everyone. We want red guy. Just
Yo, top A cross, weak with mine with it.
They're an A. We can get B.
Top red.
What do we play for?
On you, weak. When is the box? Absolute.
CTF Bound.
I can't get him. I cannot
Start
get
playing
him.
for this. Say what we're going for. Say what we're going for. Like Andrew in the corner.
Yeah, he is. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die here. He's bottom C going tunnel. Bottom C. They have numbers.
We need kills, guys. We need kills now.
They don't kills. One shot.
Jumping into a listening when a team's winning, but actually we saw a little bit of a collapse here from G2, but you saw how they tried to prioritize certain strongholds, saying they need to stay alive, but it's FaZe who've come back into things with a triple cap, and they are right back into this game now.
The momentum has completely swung in the favor of FaZe. In that listening, you heard the passion or maybe some hecticness out of the call-outs from the side of G2. They know that FaZe is starting to gain some traction. The momentum, like I said, has switched, but G2 on your screen right here looking to switch over A and C, and they do have a couple strongholds now.
It's just the amount of time that B has been held by FaZe, and they're not going to contest it just yet, but actually someone does dive in as G2 eventually take it, but at the same time, A and C is now in control. So just what G2 did to FaZe at the start of this game, FaZe are returning that favor, saying anything you could do, we can do better. And what was a 100-point difference has now been cut down to 10.
Snipe down, taking some heavy fire from top control. Goes down as 3 members of G2 all collapsing. Back elevator trying to capture this A point. They already have B, so this is a great opportunity for G2 to gain back some momentum in this game. The last few minutes have gone completely in the favor of FaZe as things are all tied up now, 175 apiece.
This is one of the issues of being so far behind, though, that even though FaZe have just had an amazing period, they caught up, but now with G2 finally get some slays on board, FaZe once again find themselves behind, and they have to now come from behind to try and get a setup or break this setup that G2 are currently holding. And when you have manglers on board, when you're in positions with grenades, it can be difficult to try and break through to this turbine area or even get into the B stronghold.
Artic with a big double kill there, saving Gilkey's life right there, and Turbine. 2 strongholds still in the favor of G2. Map positioning in the favor of G2, and Gilkey just needs to stay alive right here.
Gilkey can just be a nuisance, but Bound knows full well that he couldn't allow him to live here. At least Falcated's there to do some damage, but that camo is up. And FaZe maybe know and realize that if they can grab this camo, it might be their ticket to break the setup, but they need to do it quickly. Only 20 points now left for G2 to win this map.
Camo in the hands of a very sneaky player. Bubu Dubu spots a couple G2 players, chooses to just shoot his BR rather than try to make a sneaky play, and I like that decision. He needs to do damage as soon as possible. Straight Stick goes down as well. Bound able to clean that kill up, and this B stronghold conversion will be huge for FaZe as they currently are losing C to G2, and they'll see the swap C for B, and FaZe still has a couple strongholds.
Camo's done its job. They've got A and B. They've given themselves a chance here, but G2 straight away swarming from C over towards A, making FaZe double back and try and push on them. But with C being taken, it's going to be a battle here. Whoever wins these BR fights could win the game.
This is a big battle right now for G2, able to take down bubu dubu in that C stronghold. Only 4 seconds left to go, and G2 will win this game number 3. But no, FaZe able to get into A at the last second. Will they be able to convert it? There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. G2 will win game number 3. Fist bumps all around, and they take the series lead in this elimination bracket.
Deserved fist bumps as well. What a performance that was from G2, not only with how they began the game and how much control they had, but sometimes when you allow a team to get back into it the way that FaZe did, that can really dishearten you. It can make you start to question yourselves. Teams will crumble in that position, but G2, in the communication we heard during the listening, you just knew they knew how to get back into a game when they were behind. They said, look, we need to stay alive. Let's focus B here. Oh, I'm going to die. Maybe you need to wait for me to spawn. They all had it there. G2, every single time, had an answer to the questions that FaZe were posing, and now G2 take the lead. And even though it won't be history repeating itself because it was a 3-0 to G2 the last time these faced each other, it still would be a shock if G2 can take out FaZe here in the elimination bracket.
Yeah, taking a look at these highlights from game number 3. Bubu Dubu was able to turn things around a little bit in the middle parts of that game, but struggling to close things out along with the rest of his team. Gilkey, you heard the passion in his comms as we went into that Astro listen-in, and that's what I love about this G2 team. You know, you hear rosters like Sentinels and Cloud9 call out, and they have that, you know, very calm communication, but some players thrive in that. You know, some players thrive in that passion, myself included. I've always been a big communicator, and I've loved to get my teammate typed up, and if it works, it works as G2 takes the 2-1 series lead. Look at that passion.
Yeah, and you need to have that passion. You need to get that adrenaline flowing. You need to have the belief that you can take this series, because knocking out FaZe Clan would be a big one for G2. Not just for the players, but I mean, when we look at organizations, when we look at kind of partner teams, this is the first time we've seen G2 on the main stage, and they are going to make a statement if they carry on playing the way they have been. FaZe certainly will be a little bit disappointed that after, you know, the comeback they had in those last 2 games, they weren't able to get a victory out of it. They just need to start a little bit quicker. That's where they've been failing in this series so far.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity right now for FaZe to turn things around. You know, the only way they're going to win this series is if things go to a Game 5, right? And there's nothing like winning a Game 5 in the elimination bracket, keeping your tournament hopes alive. So this could be a blessing in disguise. We need to see FaZe turn things around, and it needs to happen in this Game 4, capture the flag Bazaar. No more room for error. FaZe, bubu dubu, Bound, Snip3down Falcated. I want to see them all playing at the top of their game and push this to a Game 5.
The bad news for FaZe, they have played Bazaar CTF twice this tournament, and they've yet to win it. They've lost it both times. It is clearly one of their weaker game times. G2, however, have won this already in the tournament, so certainly it seems like Bazaar CTF would be a more comfortable and confident map for G2, but I think in this situation, when these 2 teams are so closely contested, we throw the form book out of the window. I don't say it often, the stats go out the window. It's about who's stepping up, who's actually hitting their shots. Are we going to see people choking? Because if you do miss, you know, that one BR shot, that could be the difference to a flag cap or not.
Definitely. It's very tough when at the highest level getting flag caps on Bazaar. And we're going to need to see both of these teams play at the highest level in order to capitalize on their advantages. And if we get there, we'll have Slayer on Aquarius in Game 5, and that is going to be an absolute madness all around.
It really will. Slayer Aquarius is actually one of my most enjoyable Slayer game types to play because of the arena-based map, but we'll talk about that if we get there, because first we have a Bazaar CTF to play. Very simple, capture your enemy's flags. There's so many goodies on this map as well, Goofy. You've got the rocket, you've got the overshield, and you got the grapple, you got the bulldog. It's all there, all the tools to try and be a nuisance to the other team and try and just absolutely pummel them into the ground.
And those 2 manglers on each side. We can't forget about that overpowered little side weapon that we've seen players using it all weekend long, putting the sandbox to use. Those dynamo grenades bottom middle, you got the grapple. There's so much on this Bazaar map. I'm a big fan, and let's see how this game goes. Elimination bracket, FaZe versus G2. Backs totally against the wall for FaZe. No room for error as one more loss in this series, and they are going home.
Well, FaZe Clan fans, I think this team might need your energy right now because they are on the brink of elimination, as Faisal just said. G2, however, are looking to try and make a statement, progress into that top 8, and try and bid their chance to move even further into this elimination bracket.
1 player falls for each side. Overshield still on spawn. Good positioning for Straight-Sig. This line of sight allowing him to keep players off of that overshield. And there you have it. Artic from G2 able to pick up Ovi. So good start for G2 in this game number 4.
And I was going to say, I'm really worried about this map in particular. When you look at how FaZe have played this series, they are slow to start. And the one map you don't want to start slow on is Bazaar capture the flag. All the control of mid-map now in favor of G2. They've got the rockets, they've got the overshield, they've got all the tools that they need, and now they can push in through tree and potentially even look to get an early flagpole here.
A great start for G2 as so many members of FaZe already down. Nice little slide there by Straight-Sig, allowing him to get that much more momentum with this slide, but he does go down. So big kill on Straight-Sig right there by FaZe.
Yeah, really important. There was a member of FaZe to be in the bar, to be ready to stop that flag, because if it had been tossed to bottom middle, you have to say that could have been a cap already for G2, but Snip3down in that priority position, knows there's a player in tree, has to win that fight, but he doesn't, so the flag is still kept alive here.
Yeah, that was a big play by Snip3down to be in bar and get a couple kills there, and unfortunately Bound and bubu there as well to make sure that flag doesn't get too far. And look at this, Dan, we got FaZe on the other side. Big kill there by Falcated on Gilkey, allowing himself to move this flag, and bubu dubu will take the reins. He will be running the objective while Falcated will drop and slay. This is a great position for FaZe, able to be the first one on the board.
Straight6 trying to rotate round, but does get caught out by Snip3down. 2 slays on the board for FaZe, and it looks like they're going to be able to run this one home. G2 not in a position to stop it, and bubu slams it home as FaZe keep their hopes alive.
Great start for FaZe. 1-0 lead right now. Straight6 taking some shots from bubu. Then that double door Artic in the treehouse. And once again, overshield in the hands of Bound. A very, very skilled player in Halo Infinite. A very skilled player in Halo in general. And a lot of people on FaZe go down. But bubu dubu and a thorn in their side for now throwing that flag out. Ooh. Almost getting that kill on Artic. But all 4 members for a second had fallen there for FaZe.
Nice shots from bubu. Let's talk about that flag cap though. G2 of course had the flag out initially. Maybe slightly overcommitted to it in the grand scheme of things. Snip3down was in a position to stop the flag, and while it was happening, FaZe ran around to the other side, got the counter pull, and were able to get the slays as they ran. They're now running another flag. G2 firmly on the back foot.
This is a great flag run by Falcated, somehow able to keep it alive front of their base, trying to punch it in for a second cap, and yes, 2 caps already on the board, and we're barely getting things started in this game 4, and a great lead to start things off by FaZe.
Considering FaZe have not won this game type in this tournament, you wouldn't know it with how they've started in this one. I wanted a faster start. I wanted them to come out of the blocks a little bit quicker, and they've done just so. Now with a 2-0 lead, it really changes the dynamics of things, because FaZe could afford to get a little bit more Slayer heavy, to prioritize controlling the map here and not allow G2 Esports to just wander into their base. But G2 have found the rockets. That's going to help out.
Artic, nice kill there with the rocket BR. Clean up 2 members on each side fall. Artic trying to get this 3rd kill, but not able to as Bound gets the better of that engagement. Falcated right there, spots Straight6 towards that overshield side, and he just chooses to go back towards Bulldog. Spots a player down here. That's Sab. He goes down by that quick fire rate of the Bulldog. Nice reversal metal, and Gilkey will take down Fal.
An absolute mess happening down at Trench at the moment. Straight6 also desperately trying to stay alive at this point, but overshield's going to be popping in 10 seconds, so that's why Straight6 is prioritizing this hut at the moment, waiting for the overshield to come up, but you are vulnerable to grenades, and Bound knows that, utilizing the dynamos to the perfect way.
Yeah, those picking up those dynamo grenades and just chucking them in either closet, you always find some sort of success by doing that, and we saw it right there. Falcated, once again, that's a 2nd overshield in a row for FaZe, and Falcated knows what to do. He's just going to be very aggressive, pushing in to G2's treehouse. Even though they had the lead, they're going to keep the pedal to the metal here and run another flag. Snip3down this time, doing the objective.
So G2 are going to be spawning over towards Trench. FaZe need to prioritize stopping that overextension and also watch the pillars. That's why Snip3down's dropping and slaying, but just like that, G2 get 3 kills on the board, and it looks like they should be able to be in a position to return this one. So FaZe, they gave it an attempt, but now they need to be on the defense. Now they need to stop G2 getting a counter cap.
Sab in FaZe's treehouse, taking a lot of fire. He goes down. Snip3down gets one as well, so a couple members fall for G2. Bubu dubu on your screen picks up a needler, but switches back over quickly to his BR spot. Straight6 top bridge, putting down some shots. Straight6 doing a great job utilizing the map and trying to stay alive. But Falcated already, every time we see Falcated, he's pushed up. He's far on the map in G2's base.
I think Falcated has been one of the most impressive members of this squad of FaZe Clan for me throughout this tournament. Lots of clutch moments, always helping his teammates and prioritizing weapons when he needs to. And now with a 2-0 lead, G2 Esports, being behind by 2, have to try and find a way to break this kind of domination of middle control from FaZe at the moment. A lot of scrappy kills going back and forth. G2 can't allow that to happen. They need to get a solid 4 dead to really regain control.
Straight6 calls out that player in his closet, drops down with his Mangler at his double doors, trying to shoot that long range. That Mangler does have surprisingly long range and able to get a really good trade right there, grappling up and shooting his gun, able to get that melee off last second. Falcated, look at this once again, Dan, in G2's base, putting the pressure on.
Yeah, FaZe have not allowed G2 to get control because they've always been a nuisance. They've always been getting behind them and playing that flag, just tossing it out to make them second guess themselves, make them have to back up and try and take that one player out of their base.
Runs into a couple players. G2 able to get a perfect right there on Sab. Will they get the double? No, Gilkey shuts that down, but great attempt there by Falcated, and Snip3down takes his place. Overshield does get melted off, but he is able to throw the flag out, and continuously the pressure is on G2. At this rate, we're going to go to a game 5.
Yes, I think if FaZe keep this pressure up, if they keep pulling these flags and don't allow G2 to get into their base and get any control, then we should be going to a game 5. But there is 5 minutes still remaining. There is still plenty of time for G2 to get control. We need to see more overshields, more rockets going in favor of G2 so they can start to get heavy on the slays. Sab having a difficult game at the moment, 4 and 14. He needs to step things up.
Snip3down on a killing spree, keeping things going. This man is an absolute machine on the map. Very rarely do we see him miss any shots, and right now he is showing us he is one of the best players in the world. Finally gets taken down by Gilkey. Straight gets one as well, so good couple kills there for G2, and they're gonna need to really get into FaZe's base. They're gonna need to start throwing those flags out like we're seeing Falcated do. We're seeing Snip3down do it as well, and once again on your screen we got Falcated.
Just a brief update from other games that are happening right now. Sentinels took down Ascend 3-1, so that's Ascend out of the tournament. Sentinels will progress. Space Station 2-1 up against Team War, and Na'Vi 2-1 up against Quadrant in the EU matchup. Some amazing games here in this elimination round 4. A lot on the line trying to get into top 8.
Bunch of good matches still to be had here at this tournament. Artic with the assault rifle. This weapon is a very useful thing to have in your back pocket. There you see the double kill coming out of Artic, putting that assault rifle to use. Bound gets a kill on the other side, so one member for each team has fallen, and the flag is being run by Gilkey. Doesn't have much support from his team as all of his teammates are on the other side of the map, but that's actually not a bad situation because it allows a pinch opportunity if Gilkey can throw that flag out.
And it's a 3 versus 3 at the moment. If G2 can get some slays, then maybe this flag can move, but with Sab and Artic down now, you imagine that FaZe are going to be in a position to maybe run a flag of their own. Falcated once more is trying to be a nuisance bottom middle with the overshield. How many overshields has Falcated been able to achieve? Big double. Having the assistance of the extra shields really allows you to confidently push in without fear and worry of being taken down.
We're seeing FaZe turn things around right in front of our eyes. They look like a completely different team right now than we saw in earlier games this series. FaZe clicking on all cylinders right now, and G2 must be worried.
3 minutes remaining. It's not long when you think about Bazaar CTF and how long it actually takes to take control of the middle of the map, then push into the base, then slay another team, and then get that flag to your base. We need to see G2 getting a flag on the move soon, but it's not going to happen when FaZe are consistently getting 2 or 3 dead. Artic, the only remaining player of G2 right now, he's over towards that trench area. Snip3down just gets through, and that's important because now he can toss this flag out into bottom middle.
And Gilkey desperately trying to kill that flag runner. Snip3down, but bubu dubu predicting him going double door, pre-shooting that rocket. And there you have the 3rd flag being run in by Snip3down. 3-0 for FaZe as they have blown this game open with only 2.5 minutes left, up by 3 flag caps. And this is a very, very tall order for G2 if they want to try to tie things up.
Snip3down currently 24 kills, 10 deaths, plus 14, and he's doing the objective work, stepping up when he needed to. Bound having an amazing game as well. This whole FaZe roster have really just demonstrated that they have that kind of do or die attitude. We need to win this one. We can't afford to drop out at top 12. An organization like FaZe, a squad like this, top 12 would not be good enough. Admittedly, not good enough for G2 either. This is not a game I would expect for top 8.
Yeah, sometimes that's the way the bracket works out, and you just have to play the cards that you are dealt. Double kill for Gilkey, passion on his face as he knows things are looking grim right now. They're gonna probably go into this game 5 to look to turn things around, but right now, 1.5 minutes left on Bazaar, capture the flag. Snip3down with 25 kills, Bound with 22. Remember, everyone watching, this is Bound's first ever live major tournament, and we're seeing him absolutely pop off as Snip3down doing the same, takes out Straight. Only 1 minute and 25 seconds left before we hop into the game number 5 of the elimination bracket.
FaZe can just afford to play this one defensively now. They actually could afford G2 to take the flag, run it back to their base, and then they just wait for the respawns, and there's just not enough time for G2 to get 3 flags from one side to the other without a perfect run every single time. And with how Falcated's playing, that's not going to happen. He's keeping G2 at bay. He's keeping them in this base. I think G2 know it. I think FaZe know it. I think the crowd here knows it, that FaZe have shown what they're made of here, and they will be taking us to a game 5, which is exactly what this series deserves.
Yeah, similar to what we saw in that Game 3 loss out of FaZe, where they finished the game with a little bit of momentum, and we saw that translate over to this Game 4. I want to see G2 do the same. I want to hear them hype themselves up. I want to see them, practice some good habits in the last final moments of this game, going into Game 5 feeling confident.
That's what you're going to do. In these last 30 seconds where a win is basically impossible, you can't allow the likes of Snip3down to be hitting shots like that. You've got to try and get back into the heads of FaZe, win a few BR battles, shout across the stage, let them know that even though you're losing, you still think you're better. But Snip3down is currently on 31 kills and says, you know what? 3 flags isn't enough. How about we put a 4th in right now?
31 kills for Snip3down, and just to put that into some sort of perspective, on the other side, Sab has only 6 kills, so 31 for Snip3down, and doing all this objective as 4-0 win for FaZe, locking in the Game 5 opportunity, and 2 of the best words in esports, Dan. Game 5.
Game 5 indeed. It looked like maybe G2 had done enough to just pin back FaZe, but they've shown that they have fight, they have grit and determination here in that Game 4. In a game type that has been very unsuccessful for them so far this tournament, may I add, but they turn against the form book. They rip the pages out and they start to write a new one instead. Very impressed with what they had to do, and that man on your screen, Snip3down, he played a big part in it as well. The amount of kills we just saw him put down, as well as the objective work, I think he might just be the perfect teammate to have.
Who wouldn't want to have Eric Rona on your team, as we saw him absolutely will his roster to a win in that game number 4, single-handedly just dominating the competition, right? We saw him drop 30+ kills. We saw him doing all the objective. Obviously, everyone on that FaZe roster doing their part. And now we are going into a Game 5 that will be Slayer on Aquarius. But before we do that, let's take a look at some of these highlights from game number 4.
And the start that we saw G2 have, I was thinking, well, maybe this is it for FaZe. Maybe this is going to be end of the road for them, back to the drawing board. Maybe might even look at, I don't know, trying to practice a little bit more coming into the event. There's a lot of questions that would be asked, maybe some inquiries here or there, but no. FaZe answered back straight away with a counter cap to go 1-0 up, and then from there onwards, they just had so much control. They were getting over shields, they were pushing in behind in the base. Falcated, I think, was constantly living in G2 Esports' flag, and that is so difficult as a team when you always know there's one player behind you grabbing that flag, gonna shoot you in the back. If you prioritize taking him out, you give away map control. It just makes it such a tough decision.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Falcated kind of be that designated flanker, designated get behind the team player. You would imagine bubu, dubu have more of that role, but bubu more so playing the middle of the map, controlling, patrolling, giving his team the information, and Falcated constantly being a thorn in the other team's base. And overall, just absolutely outstanding performance by FaZe, keeping their tournament hopes alive and pushing this to a Game 5.
Bubu Dubu was kind of the damage dealer. The amount of assists that he had got on the board there. I mean, even though, historically we've seen Bubu being that flanker, getting those kills, getting those important clutch moments, doing the objective work at times as well, it seems like his place in this team is slightly different from the Bubu Dubu we may have seen in previous tournaments and previous iterations of Halo. And it's just about him finding his footing a little bit for Bubu. And it does seem like in that game particularly, the amount of assists he was able to put up, he was a very valuable teammate for FaZe to have, and I think they'll be delighted to take this to a Game 5.
Yeah, and at such a high level, Dan, honestly, there are no roles on teams. It's just however the game plays is how you play it, and we saw Falcated, anytime he saw an opening, he was able to take it, right? Bubu Dubu was providing the opportunities for Falcated to get behind the team, so some games you'll see Falcated be that flanker, other games you see Bubu or Bound or Snip3down even though we consider him to be that anchor, so it's all situational when it comes to Halo esports, and we're seeing it happen right here in front of our eyes, and I am just so excited to get into this Game 5. And if you're in the crowd and you're a FaZe fan, make some noise right now.
That wasn't good enough. That wasn't good. Come on, I want to hear a little bit more. Let's make some noise. Okay,
on the other side, I want to give the G2 fans a chance as well. If you're a fan of G2, show them some love. Show G2 some love. Make some noise.
Oh, it's a FaZe crowd. It's a very heavy FaZe crowd. We're into Game 5. This is what this series deserved. And now G2 need to make sure they don't allow FaZe to bring this momentum into Slayer Aquarius. A very difficult game to try and manage, because if you go down by 6, 7, 8 kills, you really struggle to get back into a game.
Good start for FaZe. Camo in the hands of bubu dubu. Let's see what he can do with this. Spots Sab over towards that pink side, and now he's going to have his teammate Bound right there with him. Sab in a very scary spot right there. Does go down, able to do some damage to Bound, who does stay alive. Camo still in the hands of bubu dubu.
camouflage and a 3-kill lead. This is the perfect start for FaZe. They really have shown that, you know, if they can start a little bit quicker, maybe that will be what shuts down the G2 army, who have really dominated in some of the games we've seen, not just in this series, but previous ones in the tournament as well. But a couple of kills go in favor of G2, so this one is very neck and neck, 6-5 at the moment.
Yeah, and look at that scoreboard. Great start for bubu. Already 3 kills on the board. Make that 4 at that important pivotal fight against Gilkey to control this P side. And that's such a big kill. Even though it just seems like 1 kill, he's able to open up the map and keep G2 trapped on the other side. So big play so far to bubu. dubu trying to stay alive with his heat wave.
Well, I said that bubu was going to be the player that I wanted to watch. Not because I think he's going to be, you know, that main slayer, the snipe down effect of going absolutely massive. But as long as he is performing, I feel like this FaZe roster around him just finds so much success because of the damage he outputs, because of usually the amount of assists he gets. Not able to find a kill with the heat wave though, but at least Bound's there to clean up.
Yeah, a little bit aggressive play there by bubu dubu, which costs him his life and gives that heat wave over to Gilkey, who now is trying to rally the troops. His team currently down by 2 kills in this game number 5. Every single kill matters so much in a situation like this. Backs against the wall. A couple kills for the members of FaZe as Artic gets one for himself. Gilkey now making his way to top middle for this camouflage. Able to pick it up, but not able to activate it. So the heat wave and camo down top mid.
There was bubu dubu as well, ensuring that he was the one pushing for the camouflage, willing to put his body on the line, gets the trade. And I think it caught Gilkey off guard, judging by his facial reactions. I think he thought he was going to be able to escape with that one, but it's Falcated in the end, who gets the camouflage. And he's got the heat wave in the back pocket. Has to survive here though. Very important he doesn't give this weapon away.
And if there's a player you don't want to start going off, it's Falcated, as he has camo and heat wave already doing damage. 16 to 12 in this game. Number 5 straights it goes down. bubu dubu right there to provide some help for Falcated as they're pushing aggressively into Sab. And the members of G2, look out, but those grenades will be so crucial right there to keep FaZe at bay.
Great collapse though from FaZe. They saw 3 members of G2 were all in the base and they tried to pinch them. Didn't work out as maybe as they expected, because Gilkey was able to worm his way out and pick up a double kill. So even though FaZe had a lot of control there, the G2 have still kept themselves within 2.
Honestly, that could have gone so much worse for G2. That could have blown open. So really good job kind of weathering the storm right there. Gilkey playing a big part in that, as only down by 3. We're on board with Falcated, just watching that line of sight right now. bubu dubu doing the same. A couple players of G2. Straight not aware that bubu's in that bubble, and Gilkey top P right now, trying to stay alive.
Will stay alive, challenged by Straight Sick, but good positioning from bubu. Unfortunately, not very much help to work with, but elsewhere, a couple of FaZe members have fallen. So G2, just like that, turned this into a tied game. So FaZe, they had a pretty commanding lead, 3 or 4 kills. It looked like with the pinch it was going to get even worse, but G2 have responded. This is going to go down to the wire because these 2 teams are so difficult to separate right now.
And at about the halfway point in terms of kills, this camouflage is going to be a really big difference maker, spawning in about 5 seconds. Let's see who can pick it up.
bubu has been the one who's prioritized it for the most part, but at the moment his focuses are elsewhere. Trying to use that sidekick to do the initial damage. A lot better from close range, but at least can give that information to the rest of the team. But bubu has not gone for the camo. Maybe someone else has been able to pick it up. And actually, no, it's still there. So bubu recognizing that it was still there. That's the 3rd time we've seen bubu push for it, and he's got it 2 of those occasions.
bubu dubu turning things around when it matters most, having a big game 5 right here. 3 members fall for G2, and once again extending that lead out to 4 kills with the camo in your hands. This is a great opportunity to FaZe to extend their lead.
And now they force G2 all the way back into the base once more, so they know where all 4 of these players are. And Bound with that initial grenade taking down Artic means it's a 4 versus 3. And look at FaZe, they're swarming. They want to continue this advantage. They don't want to allow G2 out of the base, and this is starting to get a little bit out of hand. Killing spree for Falcated.
FaZe is hitting their stride right now, 33 to 26. They are really extending this lead. Gilkey has 10 kills, really trying his best to keep his team's hopes alive. Everyone on FaZe absolutely dominating. bubu dubu with a great flank. Snip3down able to pick that kill up, and there you see an 8-kill lead for FaZe and counting.
I mean, G2 are all over the place right now. They're very spread out. They haven't been able to regain any sort of control ever since that one push from FaZe. Snip3down trying to do what he can, does do the damage, and now this is suddenly becoming a game where G2 have to slow it down. If they allow FaZe to play at this pace, they're going to be staring at elimination.
Bubu Dubu doubles back into utility, able to stay alive. What a bold play out of Bubu Dubu. I love the confidence now on board with Bound. Look at that scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. 41-25, FaZe on fire.
FaZe starting to believe, the crowd starting to realize that the dream is still there and they should be able to get the job done here to progress. Only 7 more kills required, and for G2, they have to try and reset this spawn cycle. Gilkey gets a big double. That is a massive situation, a massive chance for G2 to try and get a comeback here. But with Camo going into the hands once more of FaZe, maybe this is going to be too much of a comeback.
Camo player does get taken down, Snip3down falls, but only 5 kills left to go, Dan. And FaZe will be moving on in the elimination bracket, and G2 will be going home as Straight Sick goes down to Falcated. 4 kills left to go. FaZe, you know they're feeling good right now. Down 2-1 in this series, able to play at their greatest when they needed to, but this one isn't quite over just yet.
Yeah, they have to just play this one nice and calm, even though it's pretty much in the bag at this point. G2 could come back. We have seen comebacks on various layers throughout this tournament. Gilkey has to stay alive. Snip3down's going to be calling out right now, and all it takes is a couple of grenades, but there's Sab to maybe save the day, but here comes bubu dubu.
48-37, not able to get that 49th kill right there. Falcated just playing his life in utility, runs into Sab, takes him down for the 49th kill. 1 more kill to go for FaZe as Falcated just dodging grenades, trying to stay alive here in utility. Scoping in, trying to work with his teammates, finds that last kill. Bound taking some damage, gonna double back once again, and there you have it. Snip3down gets the last kill. FaZe with the win, and they are advancing in this tournament. What a win by FaZe, backs against the wall, and they play massive, amazing, impressive Halo to win the series.